We have lots to discuss here in today's video, including some trade talk around the Toronto Maple Leafs. According to insider Elliotte Friedman, the Leafs are definitely looking to shake things up and looking for a hockey trade. We'll discuss some of the options and players on their roster that might be made available. Plus, we have an update on the trade rumors around Ryan O'Reilly and the Nashville Predators. One Canadian team apparently was very interested, but he rejected going there in a trade. Plus, we have big news as well today regarding the NHL waiver wire involving the Leafs making a claim. We have a David Kampf having a new home, landing in Vancouver. Matthew Schaefer continues to impress, breaking more records, and some big injuries tonight as well, including a couple key defensemen like Doughty McAvoy and Drew Doughty. A lot more coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have lots to discuss here in today's video. We're going to kick things off with another record-breaking moment for the youngster Matthew Schaefer. This kid continues to be so impressive. Not only is he one of the league's top rookies and one of the leading contenders for Rookie of the Year, he's turning out to be one of the league's top defensemen, period, especially from an offensive standpoint. He had the opportunity to score an overtime winner last night, which ended up breaking a record. He is the youngest NHL player of all time to score an overtime winning goal. Just 18 years old and 70 days. Previously, the record was held by Sidney Crosby during his inaugural season, where he was 18 years and 101 days old. So he's 31 days younger than Crosby was when he scored his first overtime goal. So he now has the most goals by a defenseman in the NHL. Just an incredible piece for the New York Islanders. They are so blessed to have this kid. He's just so impressive. I kind of half wonder, and it's probably still a little bit of a long shot, but if there's like an injury or two or something, I kind of half wonder, does Canada consider him for the Olympic team? I mean, you want some experience out there, but this kid looks mature. He's poised. The big stage doesn't seem to get to him. I don't know. He's just a special player. And I know guys like Bedard and Celebrini are hoping to get on that team as well. And, I don't know if they all make it or not. But I tell you, the future is bright. And I think I'd be wanting to get these kids some experience if it were me. But even for Schaefer, even if he goes as, one of the extras that maybe doesn't even get into the opening lineup or something, but maybe gets a chance to play if somebody gets hurt or somebody's not playing well, you need some more offense or something. Just a special kid. As I mentioned as well, David Kampf has a new home. The buyout with the Toronto Maple Leafs was completed yesterday. He became an unrestricted free agent. There's 3 teams in the mix. Vancouver is where he ends up landing. Montreal was in the mix as well. But as a few insiders have said, that David Kampf basically had more of an opportunity to play a bigger role with the Vancouver Canucks, which is why he chose to go there. So he signs a 1-year deal at $1.1 million. This is a low-risk deal for the Canucks. If things don't work out, that's a contract that's fully able to be buried in the minors. He can go back on waivers and go from there. But ultimately, he walked away from $4 million in salary and signing bonus money from the Toronto Maple Leafs between the remainder of this season and next. Obviously, he's got a contract now for $1.1 million. The hope is that he signs an extension, I guess, making maybe a couple million next year, and he can be close to being whole. But obviously, the opportunity is going to be pretty good for him in Vancouver. I think with the state of that team and the injuries and roster, the way it's constructed, I think he'll get a decent chance to play. So we'll see how things work out for David Kampf in Vancouver. The Maple Leafs made a waiver claim today, picking up veteran defenseman Troy Stecher from the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, the Oilers needed to make room for a returning Zach Hyman, and the Leafs have had some blue line injuries, and they had some blue line struggles. So bringing in a veteran guy who can play some minutes, because I know the fan base seems to be ready to move on from Philippe Myers, and Dakota Mermis has been up, not really his fault. He's obviously not super experienced, but they could use another experienced body back there, especially in the absence of Kristanev. So Stecher can come in, hopefully give them a little bit more solid minutes than some of those other guys that have been getting a chance there on that blue line. But the Leafs' defensive struggles have certainly continued, and we'll discuss the Leafs here a little bit further as the latest update from Elliotte Friedman indicates they're looking to make some changes. Terrible news on Jack Hughes today as well. The centerman for the New Jersey Devils, former first overall pick, is going to be out for about 2 months. That situation where it was a freak accident at a team dinner is really going to cost him an extended period of time and a lot of games. Thankfully, it sounds like if Team USA still wants him on the Olympic team, that he should return in time for that. 2 months would put him returning around, we're November, so it'll be about mid-January. So he'll be reevaluated in 6 weeks, and if all goes well, he should return in about 8. But basically, the story has been confirmed by enough people now. Essentially, he slipped and fell on broken glass, which caused a big slice in his finger, and he had to have it surgically repaired. So that's what's going on with Jack Hughes. When we heard yesterday the news, it sounded like he was going to miss at least a game or two. Didn't think it was going to be that serious, but that's a pretty bad blow. This guy just can't catch a break. He's never, he's hardly ever played more than 65 games in a season. He's always had a significant injury, except for the 1 year he had 99 points. It just seems to be following him, even if it's not happening on the ice. A bunch of other injury updates and roster moves here. The Dallas Stars are going to be without Thomas Harley for a few weeks. He's out week to week, so that's a big blow for them. He's a very important part of their decor. The Rangers are without Will Borgen tonight. He didn't play. He's out day to day, so he'll be back shorter term. Zach McEwen, of course, who was traded from the Senators to the Devils earlier in the year for Curtis McDermott, has been hurt a couple of times now since he landed with the Devils. This time, it does look like he's going to miss an extended period of time. He's going to be out for quite a while, according to reports out of New Jersey, so don't expect to see him anytime soon. The Hurricanes recalled young forward Bradley Nadeau. The Maple Leafs classified Brandon Carlo as day-to-day today with a lower body injury. They also got Joseph Wall back between the pipes tonight. Unfortunately, they did drop another 3-2 game to the Chicago Blackhawks, so their overall struggles have continued. William Nylander actually has gone 2 straight games now without a shot on goal, which is hard to wrap your head around, but it has happened. The Devils, on top of the Jack Hughes news, they also are going to be without Cody Glass for a while. He's out week to week with an upper body injury, and Connor Brown's also been moved to injury reserve. The Devils picked up a big overtime win today, but obviously the injuries are piling up for sure. So they'll get some adversity to face there. Good news in Buffalo. Rasmus Dahlin is back. Of course, we knew he took a leave of absence to go spend time with his fiancée, who's having some major health issues. Of course, we knew I believe she had a heart transplant, if I'm not mistaken. So clearly, some pretty serious stuff going on in his personal life. He was gone for, I think it was about a week or so, but he is back now with the Sabres. So that's welcome news. The Sabres picked up a nice big comeback win tonight in overtime against the Detroit Red Wings. They had a multiple goal deficit into the third period, but they came all the way back. The overtime winner was interesting. Tage Thompson basically shoved Alex DeBrincat right off the puck. DeBrincat went flying into the boards. He passed it out to Matthias Samuelsson, who beat the goalie to score the OT winners. Certainly not something you see every day, that's for sure. Carter Hart with the Vegas Golden Knights has been sent down to their AHL team on a conditioning stint. Of course, due to his suspension, he cannot play until December the 1st. So I believe he's likely going to be down there for a little while. He was backing up today. He'll get a chance to play a few games and kind of sharpen up his skills here. San Jose has placed Jeff Skinner on injured reserve. He was hurt the other day. Zach Ostapchuk's been recalled. The Lightning recalled Jacob Peltier in their battle today with the Florida Panthers. They had a lot of missing bodies. Sam Bennett also elbowed Nikita Kucherov in the face, so be curious to see if any supplemental discipline comes from that. The Department of Player Safety head George Peros was actually at the Panther Lightning game today. They were hoping it wasn't going to get out of hand and be crazy like it was in the preseason. So we'll see if anything comes from that or not. The Penguins activated Rutger McGroarty and Joel Blomqvist today, sent them back down to the minor leagues. Of course, the Penguins are over in Sweden right now. And Rutger McGroarty, in his first game back, they had a game today for those two to join the team for. And McGroarty, in his first game, got a puck in the face and to leave the game. So he's hurt again. So that's not good news. Utah sent Kevin Rooney back to the American Hockey League. And the Blackhawks confirmed that Captain Nick Foligno is going to be out for approximately 1 month. So that's not good. Now tonight, in some injury action, we also had Drew Doughty. The Kings had a very boring game against the Ottawa Senators. It's a 1-0 win. It wasn't a lot of action. Neither team generated even 20 shots on goal. Both were really, really solid defensively, but it was a snoozer of a game. But Drew Doughty took a block shot off of his foot. and left the game, did not return. I'm not sure if it got him completely. Looked like it got him more in the outer edge, closer to where his toes would be, but I don't know. I'm not sure the exact injury, but there was word that he left the game in a walking boot. So we're not clear if he's going to miss an extensive time or a little bit of time or anything like that. We'll have to wait and get some updates later. Charlie McAvoy also got hurt in the Boston-Montreal game tonight. That was a wild game this evening with a fight right off the opening draw with Nikita Zadorov and Jaden Struble. We also saw Tanner Jeannot absolutely level Arbor Jacki. It was quite a game of physical affairs in the Bell Center tonight. The Bruins did pick up the win in that game. Charlie McAvoy left injured after getting a puck right to the face. It was a nasty one. There's a lot of blood on the ice. I guarantee you he lost at least a few teeth. For the update on McAvoy, they weren't quite sure. He was still undergoing testing. They didn't know if he was going to be able to leave with them or if he was going to have to stay behind. I suspect he's going to be needing some dental work in the worst way. But yeah, he got him right in the side of the mouth. It was nasty. A lot of blood on the ice. So hopefully he's okay. But I'm not clear at this rate how much time he'll miss. The Montreal Canadiens in that game also had the debut. They recalled forward Jared Davidson, who got a chance to get into the Habs lineup for the very first time today as well. Now, as I mentioned, some trade talk. We're going to take a look at a couple things. One, we'll start quickly with Ryan O'Reilly. Then we'll get into the Leaf stuff that Elliot Friedman was touching on in the Saturday headlines segment on Hockey Night in Canada. Ryan O'Reilly in Nashville, we know as one of the many players that are expected to probably move. The Predators, of course, are overseas right now in Sweden. The Global Series, they picked up the first win in Game 1 of that series over there. They tied it at the very last minute of the game. It was a 1-0 Penguin lead on a Malkin goal. And then I think it was Philip Forsberg, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was Forsberg who tied it in the final minute on a 6-on-5 opportunity. And then Steven Stamkos scored the OT winner. So they did pick up a win over there, but they're still not having a great season, still near the bottom of the league, and lots of belief that the Predators are going to have to accept the fact that they're going to have to make some changes. O'Reilly's one of those players. Now, he doesn't have trade protection, but Barry Trotz said before that he has so much respect for O'Reilly that even though he doesn't have that in his contract, that he won't trade him without putting him in a good position, and he'll want to make sure he's okay with it before he pulls the trigger. Apparently, the Vancouver Canucks are a team that were quite interested in O'Reilly's services and had some conversations with the Predators around his availability, and apparently O'Reilly kind of poo-pooed that idea and rejected the deal and didn't want to go to Vancouver. The belief is O'Reilly has, I think he's open to moving by the sounds of things, but according to what we've heard from Friedman, he says that he wants to go to a more legit contender. So he's not going to want to go to another team that's struggling. And the Canucks haven't exactly been amazing this year. A lot of uncertainty over the future of their captain, who looks disinterested, to be honest, in my honest opinion. I hate to say that for Canucks fans, but I don't know. Quinn Hughes has been different this year. It's been kind of weird. And I can understand why O'Reilly might be a little bit reluctant to go there. But as far as, there's been lots of other teams that have expressed interest in O'Reilly. But he's very hard on himself. The other day he was saying how awful he was. And then he had a chance to kind of retract some of that and say he shouldn't be whining like that, like it sounded like a baby. Which he kind of did. It kind of reminded me of the speech he gave on an interview when he was way back with the Buffalo Sabres before he was quickly moved out of there. But yeah, things are not great in Nashville, and we do expect some movement. O'Reilly's going to get lots of attention, and the Canucks were interested, but were rejected. Now, on to the Leafs. Elliot Friedman says tonight on Saturday headlines, and this shouldn't come as a shocker, that the Maple Leafs, of course, are not real thrilled with how their season has gone. He does not believe, at this point at least, that Craig Berube is in trouble or in the hot seat. Some people were speculating that maybe he would be. I know there was some talk through some other platforms saying not so much that they thought he was the problem or anything, but just that, the GM only has so many things he can do to improve the team. And a lot of times, sometimes the coach kind of takes the sword and takes one for the team as a move to shake things up. You have a coach with a ton of experience kind of out there on the unemployment line, and Peter DeBoer, that they could turn to. But it doesn't seem to be something that Elliott feels is imminent. So Berube appears to be safe for the time being. And in all honesty, I really think it is fair to say that he is not part of the problem. It's the players, and it's got to fall on the players, and to some degree, management. I don't know that the construction of this roster is as good as it can be either. I mean, I know, like I said, they went through a major transition, losing Mitch Marner. They brought in a bunch of other guys who they were hoping could generate enough offense to make up the difference. And for the most part, scoring hasn't been an issue. The last few games have been a little bit different, but overall, their scoring has been okay. The biggest problem, I think, when it comes to the offense is the defense has a hard time moving the puck and making the passes out of the zone. That's been a big issue. I know that there's definitely some players on this team that have been rumored to be moved, but we haven't seen anything happen here just yet. So what Elliott makes mention here, they don't want to trade future assets. They don't have much in the way of good prospects. So guys like Easton Cowan, Ben Danford, they'd like to hang on to. They don't want to move another first-round pick. They don't have a lot, they've moved a lot of those over the years as well. So they want to avoid that and make just hockey trades, roster player for roster player, or some combination of that. So if you look around their roster, and Elliott also made it clear that by no means are they looking to trade a core player. So like Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, those guys are pretty well safe. Okay? I mean, goaltending, probably not either. I don't think there's a goalie out there that's available that's going to give you better results per se. Like the goaltending market is pretty... there's not much out there, really. Like, there's a few veterans that maybe could be had, but I think you're going to be fine. Wall and Stolarz will get it figured out. It's been good for them for the most part here. So, really, if you're looking for, ideally, I think they'd like to find a puck-moving defenseman. That's part of it. And I think they would like to find a scoring forward. Now, that's going to be a lot to ask and going to be difficult to do. If you're looking at making hockey trades, though, you're looking at trading roster players for other roster players and off other teams, take a look at what you got. Are they going to trade Max Domi? 19 games played, 6 points, minus 10? Like, Max is not having a good season. I mean, they'd probably open to moving him, but is other team's going to want that? Dakota Joshua hasn't done great in his arrival with the Maple Leafs. 19 games, he's got 2 goals, 3 assists, minus 7. Not fantastic. Nikolai Waugh comes over from Vegas in the Marner trade. Like, I know he's not expected to put up a ton of points, but he's not even putting up points like he did in Vegas. Like 4 points in 19 games and he's minus 4. So again, these players are not even, playing strong defensive hockey. But meanwhile, you got guys in the forward group like Nick Robertson, who's been in the rumor mill forever as being a player that could be traded. He's got 5 goals, 11 points, and he's only minus 1. And he doesn't get a ton of minutes. So, not too bad, really. Like, he's been able to produce at a decent clip considering what he gets, right? Bobby McMahon, he's got 5 goals and 8 points, minus 1. These guys have been in the rumor mill are not necessarily the issue. Even looking at Morgan Riley, point-wise versus the eye test doesn't match up. 15 points in 18 games, but he's minus 4. And just watching him play, like, I know I was listening to SDPN guys, Adam and Steve, talking in a clip earlier. Like, they're done with Riley. Like the ability to move the puck, just the smart plays and things that you expect from him are just not happening. Like Ekman Larsson's probably their best puck moving defenseman now. And if you're going to make a trade, like a hockey trade, you're going to have to trade something of value. So if they were able to incorporate Morgan Riley into it, like I've been saying for a while, like I like Morgan Riley to a degree, but I think he's been kind of miscast. If he can play a different role for a different team, I think he could be way better. His contract's not horrible by any means, but you need a little bit more from him. And he might be the player with the best value. Like, you're not going to get a whole heck of a lot offering up Dakota Joshua, Max Domi, Nikolai Waugh. You don't want to move Tavares. You don't want to move Nylander. You don't want to move Matthews. Like, you're going to keep all those guys. Who are you going to trade? You're going to trade Nick Robertson or Bobby McMahon, who are like some of your only couple guys that are giving you secondary scoring? They'd have better value than some of them, but unless you're getting a real high-end player, which I don't know that you're going to be able to do, I don't think it's going to work out. if they could move Morgan, maybe some kind of package of Riley, maybe with one of those guys, with Riley, with either Robertson or McMahon, maybe. For if you can get a good puck-moving defenseman coming back and maybe another scoring forward, but to get out of that in one deal is probably impossible to do. So I'm not really sure how they go about things. But if you're looking to make a hockey trade and to not move one of your core forwards, I think Riley is the guy with the best value. Got a good experience in the league, played a lot of games, and I think in the right role, he could be better cast, better suited, and more successful. But yeah, it seems like a lot of fans are kind of getting to the point where they feel like, he's not really helping matters a whole lot, and that some of his stats can be a little bit misleading. But I just don't know, like looking at the other guys that are non-core players that you could move, that any of them have enough value to really do anything of substantial anyway. I just don't know, like, like who are you going to go get? That's the question. And I think ideally their best form of offensive help just might be getting a higher end puck moving defenseman. But that's, again, they don't grow on trees. They're not easy to find, and teams that have them aren't giving them away. So it's not going to be easy. So we'll see what happens. Let me know who you think the Leafs should target in these hockey trades. Who on their team has the best value that makes the most sense for them to move, and who should they target from other clubs that actually makes sense and that would be available. Like, again, I don't know that Rasmus Andersson really makes a ton of sense for them for what they're trying to do. I mean, he might be a better puck-moving option than Riley, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I mean, it's not like Riley's absolutely horrible, but like, when you're seeing, the hardcore fans of this team that watch this player play for a long time admit, and like a lot of the Riley supporters saying they should probably find him a new team. But he's not the only one. It's just that simple, right? This team needs changes, and if that's how you're going to go about doing it, like you've spent a lot of currency on prospects and draft picks in the last 4 or 5 years, especially going for it and trying to open your window up, and now you're in this spot where things just aren't quite clicking anymore. So, Riley, a lot of people say that Riley's game hasn't been quite the same since Berube took over. That the way Berube wants to play and his systems don't work well for him. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.